Welcome to the BDI Empowers podcast, where experts simplify disability benefits so you don't waste years figuring them out. Now, get empowered.
Welcome to BDI Empowers, the newest podcast series hosted by Bobby Dodd Institute. In this episode, we dive deep into the latest changes and insights surrounding Social Security, disability benefits, and more. I'm your host, Anna Maki, and today we're going to walk through some critical updates on Supplemental Security Income, SSI, identity verification, and changes to Social Security benefits that could impact you or your loved ones. If you've been following recent changes, you know that Social Security is undergoing a lot of changes, whether it's related to how benefits are calculated, the rules for living arrangements, or how identity verification is handled. Today, I'll break it all down for you in a way that's easy to understand. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about in-kind support and maintenance. Now, if you're receiving SSI benefits, you're probably familiar with the fact that it's a needs-based program. This means the amount of your benefit is based on how much support you need and how much you're getting from other sources, like your family. One of the most significant updates is how Social Security determines if someone is being subsidized at home. In simpler terms, if you're living with family and they're helping with shelter or food, Social Security might reduce the amount of SSI you receive. But here's the good news. As of recent changes, food is no longer factored into the calculation for this. That's right, you no longer have to include food costs in the fair share calculation. With how expensive food is these days, this can really make a difference. Let's say your monthly rent is $1,800 and your utilities are $400. Without food, this would be $2,200 for the household. If you live with 4 people, your share of that is $550. You would be able to pay your fair share of expenses with $550 from your SSI benefit, even with the 1/3 reduction, so that would make you eligible for the full amount. So, if you're living at home and contributing fairly, be sure to consider whether you might qualify for an increase in your SSI award. You do this by showing that your contribution to room and board is fair, meaning that you're paying your share, not relying on the family to subsidize you. Now let's dive a little deeper into the concept of fair share. The key here is to show that the amount you're paying is reasonable. This means looking at the cost of shelter and utilities, but not things like property taxes or internet. A simple formula is rent plus core utilities equals total monthly expenses. Then divide that by the number of people in the household. If you're paying your fair share, you can show that to Social Security that you're no longer being subsidized. However, if your expenses are higher than what your SSI benefits cover, the Social Security Administration might determine that you're still being subsidized, even if you are paying room and board. If you're thinking about a room and board agreement with family, you'll need to prove that the amount you're being charged is the same as you'd charge anyone else. If your child's rent is $600, but you'd charge a friend $1,200, Social Security would consider that an unfair charge. Use SSA Form SSAL 5061 to demonstrate that you are treating tenants consistently. Here's my pro tip. If you're facing this situation, Form SSA 795, Statement of Claimant, can be your best friend. It's a form where you can detail how you've calculated your fair share. Show your work, just like we did in math class. Next, let's touch on a critical change affecting applications for SSI and SSDI. If you've applied for benefits recently, you may notice some changes to how Social Security verifies your identity. As of March 25th, new rules were introduced, which initially required in-person visits for identity verification. This would have meant that anyone applying for or making changes to their benefits had to go to a Social Security office in person. But this rule has been postponed. As of late March, the Social Security Administration pulled back on this requirement, meaning that you'll still be able to apply for or update your benefits over the phone. However, if you need to change your direct deposit information, you'll still need to go into the office. And as always, we recommend using My Social Security online portal to apply for benefits, check your status, or make changes. It's faster and gives you a receipt for your records. Now, a bit of positive news for those who've been paying into a non-Social Security covered pension plan, such as teachers or firefighters. The Social Security Fairness Act recently passed, which opens the door for higher benefits for these individuals. This means people who worked in certain public service jobs where they didn't pay into Social Security can now potentially receive a Social Security benefit, retroactive payments, and increased monthly benefits. If you or someone you know falls into this category, keep an eye on these changes as they can mean more money in your pocket. With all these changes happening, it's important to know how they might affect you, especially when it comes to the future of Social Security. There are talks about potential cuts to benefits, and if you're worried about this, now is the time to take action. Don't just sit back and hope for the best. Call your legislator and make your voice heard. The public can and does influence these changes. If we want to protect the benefits of those relying on Social Security, we need to make sure our concerns are heard. To wrap up today's episode, I hope you found this breakdown of recent SSI and Social Security updates helpful. Whether you're navigating in-kind support and maintenance rules, identity verification, or just trying to keep up with all the changes, staying informed is key. As always, if you have any questions or need more information, reach out to us at empowers@bobbydodd.org or visit our website at bobbydodd.org. We cover topics like this one in more detail every month in our BDI Empower webinar series. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, take care, stay informed, and keep advocating for what you deserve.
This was BDI Empowers, your guide to independent living. Join us again next month to learn more about simplifying disability benefits.